Welcome to Kitchen Cuts with Christopher, your guide to taking care of your hair while in isolation. In episode 4, we're going to be talking about how to fade properly. And don't forget, hit the like, share this video, and comment if there's something specific you'd like to see. Let's get started. Hi everybody, welcome back to Kitchen Cuts with Christopher. Today we're actually going to be talking about doing a fade and what a fade actually is. We're going to be using clippers with some guards, and I'm going to tell you actually how it's supposed to be done. So as you all remember my model Josh here. Josh is my roommate and has been for a long time. He actually wears his hair a lot longer on top, and then he just does the sides and back as a low fade. So now I'm not going bald today. If you're going to go bald for a bald fade or a skin fade, you should probably go to a professional to have that done. There's a lot of blending techniques that we've learned over the years. And today what I'm going to be teaching you is how to do a basic fade with your clippers and what they come with. So the first thing we're going to do is you always start with your longest clipper blade. Now, Josh has basically a line that goes all the way around his head, and that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to leave the top alone for now. We're not even going to touch it. So that's just the way that he does his style. So for you, don't worry about that. I'm just going to comb that right out of my way. And now I'm going to take, and I'm using my number 2 guard, okay? Number 2 is going to be the longest that I do for him. For some of you, that may be a 4. A 4 is a 1/2 inch, 3 is 3/8 of an inch, and then of course the number 2 is a 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to go with a 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to make sure my clippers are at the lowest setting because I've got the guard on it. Now, with him, I am just going to make my first line, my first cut. And you go through, and we're just going to take that right off the top area. Now, some people always say that when they do fades, they go from shortest to longest. And for me, I do exactly opposite. I start with my longest, and I go down to shortest. I do that because you can always take more off. You just can't put it back on. So start with the longest area. And we're going to do that all the way around his head. Okay, and don't worry, I'm going to go back and do the other side here in a few minutes after I'm done with the video, but for the sake of the video right now, I'm just doing that 2 around the top. As you can tell, it's different. Now I'm going to take, and I'm going to use my number 1 guard. It's lower. So for this, I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to take my clippers to halfway, okay, because I want it to blend a little better. So now I'm just going to go through, and you can see where my 2 line is. And I'm just going to use that number 1, and I'm going to go about halfway to that 2 line. Okay? So we're going to take that completely off, blend it all the way around. You can see my rocking fashion that I'm doing here. Whenever you're cutting with clippers, remember, it's a rocking motion, okay? You use the back of your clippers, you never go in this way, okay? That's for details and making lines and things like that. But for now, you're just going to rock this direction. By doing that, it allows you to blend the hair a lot better. It's a lot easier to do. Okay? So we've got a pretty good fade started here. And you can see I'm actually going up into that area that I used the 2, just so I can make a nice blend of it. Okay, so now we've got that going from a 2 down to a 1. Now we need to clean up around the edges here. And for that, I'm going to be using what I refer to as a 0, or it's just a little tiny guard. And I'm going to put my blade on the longest setting. And I'm going to come down here, I'm going to start right at the sideburn, and I'm going to take it up. Now, that guard isn't taking off the way I'd like it to, so I'm actually just going to use my clippers with no guard on them, but I'm going to take my adjustment here, and I'm going to make it the longest that it can possibly be. That's the equivalent of a 0. So now I can just take that straight up the side, And again, keeping with that rocking motion all the way around. Taking it off the back, all the way around here. Going up, working into that line. And again, if you keep with that rocking motion where you're going from shorter to longer, then you will notice that you can blend out pretty much any line that comes your way. So look at the hair, not the hair color, look at the hair. Because the hair is where you're going to notice all your differences. Now, this is not something that you can typically do by yourself. It's something that you need help with. So, ladies, this is where you're going to have to help your husband out. If he's wanting to fade, you're going to have to be able to know how to blend it all the way around. Taking it all the way down and getting it nice and close. So as you can see, we still have that 2 up to the top, and now it blends down to a 1 and then all the way down to a 0 around the ears. So once you've done the guideline, and of course the way he wears his hair, he's going to just knock that down over it. And his hair is curly and it lays on top of it, so it'll look really good when we're all said and done. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Again, a fade, go from the longer to the shorter, and make sure that you're using your adjustment. And while you're using your clippers, never point the clippers directly at their head, but instead use the back of the clipper and actually do a rocking motion where it's actually coming up. So I hope that helps everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time on Kitchen Cuts with Christopher.